Hi parents. Okay, we've had a couple questions come up and I wanted to go ahead and just make a little video to talk about it. So we have finished reading The Door on the Wall, and this is the week that the students are writing their paper. They've already done their A and I, they've already created their outline, and now they are turning it into a paper. So one of the questions has been that we have all these elements. How do these elements get into the paper? So I went back and I used, this is the story that's in the back of the Your Law School's a Writing book for Essay 5. This is the sample essay. I retyped it so that it's nice and neat on there. It's the exact same thing that's in the book. I just wanted it on one sheet for the kids to be able to look at in class. So I've taken that, and from that, I actually went back and worked backwards and created what my outline would look like if this were the essay that I were writing. So I just wanted you to be able to see how it moves from the outline to the actual essay. So let's look at the outline for a second. So, you don't write anything for introduction. We've talked about this in class a lot. For exordium, you can ask a question, you could issue a challenge. So for the exordium, what would you do if a lady asked you to follow her? Then you come up with your agreement. Well, everyone agrees that Edmund should have followed the White Witch. Then you have your thesis, Edmund should not have followed the White Witch, and then the counter thesis, Edmund should have followed the White Witch. Then you move down to the distribution section, and your thesis, you're restating it. You've already said it once up here, you're just restating it. Edmund should not have followed the White Witch for 3 reasons, my enumeration. And then these are my 3 main proofs, that he purposefully ignored a warning, he carelessly overlooked the White Witch, he secretly followed Lucy into Narnia. Now I take each one of those and I write my subproofs. So I've got my proof 1, purposefully ignored a warning, which is the same thing from up here. And now I have my 3 subproofs. So I wrote out my 3 subproofs. Then I went back to proof number 2, moved it down here, carelessly overlooked the White Witch, and then my 3 subproofs that prove it. And then I have proof 3, and then my 3 subproofs for proof 3, which are the same as up here. Then at the bottom, for the conclusion portion, we have our thesis, which is restated from the top. You can see I tried to do it in colors just so you could kind of follow it. Then I restated my 3 main proofs, which is, proof 1, proof 2, proof 3, which are the same ones up here. So they're on here 3 times, here, here, and then here. And then the last one is my amplification, which answers the question, who cares and why? He cares, his siblings care, all of Narnia cares, because he's caused trouble. All right, so if this were my outline, now mine's a little awkward because I was taking it from the paper and creating an outline, but let's say this is where I'm starting. When you move from the outline to your paper, this is giving you your structure. This is your skeleton. So when you start thinking of IEW and all of your add-ins, think of this. This is you are taking the basic elements from your keyword outline, and now you're turning it into sentence form. Well, you actually already have most of the sentences written in the most rudimentary way. So you could literally just start off and be, what would you do if a lady asked you to follow her? Everyone agrees Edmund followed the White Witch. Edmund should not have followed the White Witch. Some people say Edmund should not have followed the White Witch. Some people say Edmund should have followed the White Witch. Edmund should not have followed the White Witch for 3 reasons. Here are my 3 reasons. The first reason Edmund should not have followed the White Witch is he purposely ignored a warning. The witch was introduced, and this is where you have to start actually thinking about your sentences, because I just wrote it kind of as bullet points, not as sentences. All right, but let's look what they did for the example. So the exordium stays the same. What would you do if a lady asked you to follow her? Well, when I'm writing it in my paper, I'm going to jazz it up a little bit. I want it to sound better. What would you do if a pale, white, icy lady asked you to follow her? Well, right there, we have just introduced parallelism 1, parallelism of words. So I've already got parallelism 1 in my paper. And then I go through, and the rest for this first part is pretty straightforward because you're rewriting you've still got your division here. So, in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Edmund had to make this very decision. Everyone agrees that Edmund followed the White Witch, but some believe that Edmund should have followed her, and some think he should not have followed her. Edmund should not have followed her for 3 reasons, and then I've stated my 3 proofs. Here the proofs are written in a parallel form. This is parallelism 2. Ignored a warning, or purposely ignored a warning, carelessly overlooked the White Witch, secretly followed Lucy into Narnia. So now parallelism 2, 1 and 2 are in there. And then as you start going through, this is when your structure is set. But now you're starting to work on turning it into more advanced writing. So one of the things I gave everyone in class today was I made a very simplified checklist, because I think one of the areas where we start to get confused is when we don't understand the difference between an arrangement element and an elocution element. So the arrangement elements are literally how it is arranged. Do you have your 3 proofs with subproofs? Well, I know I've got that in here. Did I add an exordium? Yes, I know that's up top. Did I add an amplification? At the bottom, am I going to put who cares and why? And then division, did I add in the division, which was the element that we just added in for essay 5 in our last paper. So all of these things right here are actually part of your outline. It's part of the structure of the paper that you're writing. Then you get to your next elements, which are your elocution elements. These are not anywhere in my template for my outline. These are the things I have to go back and I need to add them in. So think of it as an IEW checklist. Go back through. And if you don't have parallelism 1, you need to go at it. If you don't have strong verbs, if you're using banned words, say, said, went, where, if they're not strong verbs, you need to replace them. You need to go and add in parallelism 2. It may mean you need to add a few extra sentences to get it in there. You're not stuck with having a sentence or a paragraph that is the first reason is Edmund purposely ignored a warning. The witch was introduced as the Queen of Narnia, but this happened. And then this, you don't have to have 3 sentences. You can have 7 sentences in this paragraph, because you want to do whatever, you need to add whatever in order to get these in here, including your antithesis, which is our newest element that we've added in for essay 5. So you're going to want to make sure you have antithesis in here. In our paper that they wrote, they put antithesis in, he could have been honest and open, but he chose to be deceitful and secretive. Well, guess what? That is nowhere on my outline, because it's not one of my proofs or subproofs. It's just another support that I'm adding in. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is a thinking program. We are teaching our kids to structure their thoughts. We want organized thoughts, because you will hear this template in any political debate that you listen to. If someone is giving a speech on why they want someone to think someone, you are going to be like, oh, I totally hear Lost Tools of Writing, because this is what they use. However, they don't stick to this. They add the flowery language in. The flowery language is when we get to the things that are the elocution elements. Now, don't stop there. I, for my kids, pull out my, this is the IEW writing checklist that we use, because it has all the dress ups and all the openers. So I go back and I'm like, hey, I want to know that as you're writing your things, I don't worry about each of the paragraphs or anything, but I want to make sure, have you added in ly adverbs? Did you use a who which clause? Because you know how to do that. Do you have an Asia B clause? Did you add in some alliterations? We're about to, when we get to essay 6, we're going to be adding in similes. That's going to be the next elocution element that we add in. But, right now, you know how to add in alliteration and similes, and put a question in there. Can you add in, dual adjectives and verbs? Are your sentences, are they exciting? Do you have different openers? Because if your sentence is, he said, this happened, then there, I'm like, oh, that's not, I want a prepositional opener. I want an ing opener. Give me some ly openers in there. You know how to use these things. We're not asking you to never use them. We're saying, hey, I want you to now apply this within a structure to make it your own. So by the time you're done, you have a paper that does not sound like a robot, but it actually sounds like someone that is trying to persuade the audience. Everything we do in life is persuasive. As followers of Christ, we are called to persuade. So learning the structure of persuasion is super important. Now, one of the things that I think is a great exercise, we did this in class today, where our kids got into groups, and I gave them one of the checklists, and I wanted them to go find all the elements, because I want them to know if they can't find it in somebody else's paper, they're not going to be able to add it to their own. But if they can look at somebody else's paper and go, oh, there's antithesis, I found the antithesis, it's going to help them know that they have the confidence to be able to add it into their own paper. The problem really falls in when kids are stuck and they get to this part where they're adding in parallelism and antithesis, and they think they can't add more sentences. The reality is as long as you have your 3 proofs, those 3 proofs can be encroached in an 8-sentence paragraph. You're not stuck with 4 sentences that say main proof, subproof, subproof, subproof. I hope it's not a 4-sentence paragraph. And I hope it's exciting. I want to see those strong verbs. I want to know what happened. I want to be able to paint a picture of how you are persuading me to feel and to think the way that you feel and think. So keep in mind, when you are working on your checklist, and this checklist, this is just my format, but it's the exact same elements that are in your Lost Tools of Writing checklist. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Like here's in the back of your book, you've got your Essay 5 basic checklist on here. So they're the exact same elements. I just broke them down because I think sometimes it's easier when we say, hey, these elements came straight from your outline, and these elements are your creative additions. So outline, additions. Now, if you are thinking, how do I know this? How do I know which one is outline and which one is addition? I'm going to show you where to go. So in your Lost Tools of Writing book, this is on page number 20, where it's got the year at a glance. Like, ignore the weeks up there because they don't follow the CC weeks. However, it does follow the essay. So we're up to Essay 5. So in Essay 5 for invention, and this is our A&I chart, this is what we've covered so far. We've talked about the A&I chart. We talked about how you use the 5 common topics to fill it in. We've talked about comparison and similarities to fill it in. We've talked about comparing with the differences in degree and kind. And we talked about definition. So we've used all those to fill in the A&I chart. Then you come down to our arrangement weeks. So during the arrangement weeks, this is what we've done. We talked about sorting and how to create an outline. We added in an exordium. We added in amplification. And then for Essay 5, which this is our second go around with Essay 5, it says division and distribution. Don't worry about the distribution. The reality is they've been doing distribution. Distribution is this part right here where it does the enumeration. You're not adding anything new. But what you are adding in is your division. And the division is the part up here where you are simply stating, what does everybody agree on? And then how do they disagree, which is stating the thesis and counter thesis. Then when you get down to the elocution, these are the beautiful things that make our papers what they are. So you've got how to go from outline to text. You've got parallelism 1. You've got your verbs, strong verbs. Parallelism 2. Antithesis is what we added in. And remember, antithesis is simply when you are making a comparison. It could be within 2 characteristics of one person, or it could be within 2 characters within a book. Their antithesis was he could have been honest and open, but he chose to be deceitful and secretive. I was happy and then I was sad. Edmund was secretive, but Lucy was open. So any way that you're comparing. So, and then the antithesis, that is what was the addition for week 5. So this should be their second essay where they're practicing adding in antithesis. And in challenge A, we will end with our essay 6, and we'll have 2 weeks to practice essay 6, or two books, I should say, to practice, or 3 books to practice essay 6. So we'll be moving on to that next. So for now, really work and make sure that they understand parallelism 1 and 2, strong verbs and antithesis, and make sure that they have the exordium, the amplification, and the division, because those items are super important to making sure that they follow the structure and then the elocution elements. And we'll just continue to add this. When we get to essay 6, I will give them another one of these where I add in the next arrangement element as well as the next elocution element. Okay, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, let me know. But that is the general idea of how you go from the outline to the paper, at making sure your outline follows in your arrangement elements, which you'll find in your paper. However, your elocution elements are not in your outline. They are only in your paper. So don't be asking your kids, hey, where's your antithesis in your outline? It's not there. Their antithesis won't come in until they write their paper, and then they need to go back and do these additions. Do not hesitate to pull out your IEW checklist and have them make sure that their paper sounds like a literature paper, because there's no reason why they're not using a variety of openers and different sentence patterns, because we want it to be persuasive, but we also want it to tickle our ears, because if it sounds boring, everyone's going to tune them out and it won't be persuasive anymore. But when people start adding in very short sentences and all of a sudden they've got these OI adverbs that make you sit up and listen, then all of a sudden it becomes a paper worth listening to. So in class, we are going to be listening for all of these elements in each person's paper, as well as we're going to see if we can find some of these, just because they're ready. They're ready to take it to the next level and to make sure that they haven't stopped using what they learned, but instead they're incorporating it all together to make beautiful literature. All right. I hope that helps. Thanks so much. Bye.